Good evening, everyone. This is still size 6, and this video is going to be about some steps you can take if you feel like your hair is not growing. So this isn't that typical video of when you first started your hair journey and you've only been on it for a month or 2 months, or you're not even on a hair journey, or you're not familiar with it and you feel like your hair is not growing. That's not what this video is going to be about. So if you're experiencing one of those two things where you feel like you don't even know what a hair journey is, or you feel like you've only been on your hair journey for a couple of months and you're not seeing growth, then this is not the video for you. Okay, so I've been on this hair journey thing for approximately 18 months now, and I've learned a lot of information, and I've gotten past a lot of different cycles. Now, what I've learned is that there is one cycle that can be broken down into 3 different phases with your hair. And just to familiarize you with it, there's the anagen phase, the catagen phase, and the telogen phase. And I'm not going to go into too much detail, because then what's going to happen is this video is going to become really, really long. There's also what's called a terminal length. And if you're not familiar with any of these, you may want to familiarize yourself by either using Google, or there's that book, The Science of Black Hair. She also has a really good website. So back on track. I've been on a hair journey for 18 months, and probably back in December, after I did a relaxer, I did a length check and realized that my hair really didn't have any length from September. That was the last time I did a length check, September, October to December. And that really bothered me, because I had a tremendous amount of length every single month. I've been getting about an inch of growth. So for me to look and do a length check and find nothing, I had to go back over my regimen and determine exactly what's going on. So I did some research, and I found out that there is what's called a terminal length, and I had spoken to my hairdresser about it. Now, I just want to say briefly, I don't have a hairstylist that I go to every week, every 2 weeks, every month. It's not really like that. My hairstylist, who's very, very good and very professional, I don't have any problems with her. I use her mostly because I wear a lot of wigs. I use her mostly just so that I could cornrow my hair and do weaves. So I was speaking to her about it the last time I was getting my hair cornrowed, and she had mentioned something about a terminal length, and that made me very nervous, because when you're on a hair journey and you go from damaged hair like I did all the way to the length that I did, anyway, I was very impressed by my regimen and what I was doing. I said, obviously I'm doing something correctly. And then to go from September, October to December and not have any length, it was really kind of disturbing for me. So I figured it was time that I reassess my regimen, and that actually is number 1 on my list. Number 1 is to change your regimen. Okay, so what happened was I was using S-Curl. I'll show you what that looks like, which you're probably already familiar with. I had used S-Curl for the duration of my hair journey, for like a little over a year, and something told me, I don't know what it was, we don't always make smart decisions. Everybody's talking about Elasta QP mango butter. I'm going to use that stuff. And I did. Now, I want to say, I'm not bashing the product. It smells awesome, and it's a very good product. It's very moisturizing and makes your hair feel really nice. S-Curl is very sticky to me, so that's why I deviated away from the product. I went back to my old regimen and using the S-Curl. That was first of all. And I kind of changed it up a little bit. And the author of The Science of Black Hair even says on the website that if you feel as though you've reached a terminal length, don't be afraid to change your regimen, because if you're going from what worked for you when you were neck length may not necessarily work for you now that you're shoulder length. Don't be afraid to change your regimen. In my case, I had to change my regimen back to my old regimen, and well, we'll see how that goes. And the reason why we'll see how that goes is because step 2 is don't be afraid to change your hairstyle. And that's exactly what I did. Everyone who knows me in the hair care forums know that I love, love, love wigs, and I do weaves as protective styles, but mostly wigs. So I'll usually wear one braid on this side, one braid on this side, and I'll cover it with my wig. Well, guess what? I had to change that. So I ended up, instead of doing the 2 braids, I actually, and this is going to bring me to step 3, and not doing length checks. What I did was I had my hairstylist cornrow all of my hair so I couldn't do any length checks. And it was a change of a hairstyle for me because I'm not always taking it out and moisturizing and sealing. Instead, I'm spraying the S-Curl in between my scalp, in between the braids on my scalp, and massaging it in. And also, as a change of regimen, which I did not mention previously, is I made a mixture of sulfur, which is right here. Sorry about that, guys. Sulfur mixed with a little bit of JBCO and also some cayenne pepper, which I allowed to marinate for a couple of weeks, and also extra virgin olive oil, all in this. And after I moisturize it in the evening, I will put this on my scalp in between the braids. So that was another thing that I did. Number 4, stay positive. You know, don't be down on yourself thinking you did something wrong. You didn't. All you want to do is you want to reassess that regimen and maintain positivity throughout the period of time that you feel as though your hair isn't growing. Just don't make any rash decisions and yanking your hair and cutting it off. Don't get me wrong, there's nothing wrong with a new hairstyle, with cutting it if you feel like you want to do so, but don't do it if you're trying to grow your hair out and all of a sudden in the spur of the moment you just decide, well, I'm just going to cut it because I hate this length and the fact that my hair is staying this length. So that's my step 4, to remain positive. And number 5, in doing so, talk to others in the hair care forums. I'm not saying you should talk to always your mother, your sister, your father, your hairstylist. Not really saying bad things about those people, but they don't always understand your hair care journey. So it's always good to remain in the forums and discuss any questions or any concerns that you have with the other ladies that are going through the same trials and tribulations that you are. So to post in the forums and to maybe join some of the posts or some of the groups that are geared towards something such as that one would be a really good idea, and also helping you get through that stage as well. So with giving you those steps, I do want to go a little bit more into my regimen. And I know I mentioned going back to the S-Curl, which to me is very, very important. And the second thing I want to mention is that along with the oil that I have in my sulfur cayenne pepper mix, I'm back to GHing. And if anyone who doesn't know what that is, that's the greenhouse effect. There are plenty of videos up about it. But what I do now is, okay, so I have my hair all cornrowed like my hairstylist did. I add the S-Curl mix probably once in the evening, and then I also add the oil mix afterwards. What I do is I wear shower cap, put my silk scarf on, and a lot of times I'll put on a knit cap and I'll go to bed. So my hair is getting that heat and it's growing in the process. That's GHE. In the daytime, when I go out, what I usually do is I do the exact same thing minus the knit cap, but I put my wig on. So my hair is still getting that moisture and it's getting that heat and it's getting that type of greenhouse effect underneath the wig. So that's really huge. And I know it's working. I absolutely know it's working because when I got the braids, I said, I'm going to leave the braids in for about 3 months. Turns out I could not go past 5 weeks with those braids. On Thursday, I decided I could not go another day. It seemed like my hair was matting. There was so much growth. I had a tremendous amount of growth. So I took out those braids and I had about an inch, maybe about an inch and a half in the back. And in the front, I had probably around 3/4 of an inch, which is telling me that my hair definitely grows quicker in the back than it does in the front. In addition to doing those three things. That's the sulfur mix, sulfur cayenne pepper mix, and the S-curl, and also the GHE. I also have incorporated more protein bars into my regimen, as well as a protein drink, and I'm going to show you what that looks like. So I did a video on this stuff I got from Whole Foods, and you just mix a scoop of it with some milk, and I don't drink milk because my stomach really gets messed up with milk. So I actually purchase, instead of cow's milk, almond milk. It has 16 grams of protein. I do 1 cup a day, and I do it with omega-3. I add omega-3 and I mix it with an electric mixer. The omega-3 is also a very healthy additive to incorporate into your hair care regimen. By the way, on a side note, look out for my video on being able to grow your hair by concentrating on what is going into your body as opposed to what you're placing on your head. That's a whole separate video. In addition to the protein bars and the protein drinks, I also have incorporated drinking a lot of water. I've increased it to 60 ounces. I'm still taking MSM. I've been taking that for approximately 6 months now. And I've also added iron into my regimen as well, taking an iron capsule. And I'm also still trying to exercise. Check me on that later. And the last thing that I'm doing, besides the cornrows that I had put in my hair, is I am doing a deep conditioner 2 times a week, which I usually wasn't a huge advocate on doing a deep conditioner. But with all of this new growth, and I'm probably around 5 months post, I figured I would do the deep conditioner. And this is something that I never have done since I started my regimen. I've been very afraid of protein because I am protein sensitive, my hair is. Well, I've added a light protein treatment 1 time a month, whereas before I was doing a light protein treatment like every 6 to 8 weeks. So I'm now down to 1 time a month. And like I said, I know that this works because on Thursday when I took my hair out, I was amazed at how much hair growth I had. So the next video I will do as far as an update with my hair will be however long I can leave these cornrows in, probably for about another 4 or 5 weeks, being that I just got it done a few days ago. And as always, if anyone has any questions or comments, please feel free to leave them below. I certainly will address them. And I want to thank everyone again for watching. Have a wonderfully blessed evening.